Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, my buddy Dave Swanson, who has created what's so important for us when we're trying to promote our wonderful area, he's created Up North NY, and it's an unbelievable site where he has developed all these videos, these short videos, where you can see some of the wonderful activities that we've had. Again, Linda, I'm slipping for words here. The adventures we've had on some of our wonderful rivers, and it shows people that, yeah, you can catch muskies in these rivers doing this, and this is what we show at sports shows. But he recently, knowing that I do these spots every week, he sent me something from, I think it's called Great Lakes Now, and it was a article about gobies that have invaded our Great Lakes water system, which of course is the St. Lawrence River, our hometown water, and Lake Ontario and so forth. The study was in Lake Michigan, and they tried to study the impact of zebra mussels, another invasive species that came into these waters, and how all these invasive species are affecting each other and affecting the organisms that were already there. And of course with the mussels, they filter the water. They absorb so much of the industrial pollution and poisons that are in the water, and they make our water clearer and so forth. They also provided much food for these gobies that come in. The gobies came in on the ships that come into the Great Lakes. And it's very interesting to see where this study went. The whole study was about how did smallmouth bass learn to like to eat gobies, because we know that's why these bass are so big today in our area. That's why we have the greatest bass fishing that's drawing people from all over the world to come to the St. Lawrence River and experience trying to catch one of these monster smallmouths. And the reason being is they eat these gobies. But their point in this study was they didn't always eat them. Once the gobies came here, everybody was afraid they'd destroy all these other fisheries that existed. And what happened is the gobies discovered, or the smallmouth bass discovered how to catch the gobies. And it was really interesting. And how they told this story was they had divers go down and take pictures of what was happening down there, where the zebra mussels were and so forth. And they showed what the gobies do. And the reason the bass at first didn't pay much attention is the gobies didn't act like other fish. The bass are used to catching fish in a certain way, but the gobies would sort of hide under some of the shells that they were down near, and then they dart out quickly. And the bass learned how to intercept them as they darted out, and so they started gobbling down these gobies. But it was a fascinating story. You can see this if you went on, I think it's called Lake Michigan Now or something. Maybe it's Great Lakes Now, but you could find this article, and I've always wondered, how come at first nobody talked about the fish eating the gobies? Now we see that all these species have learned how to catch them and eat them, and the gobies can't swim very fast. They can just sort of scuttle around the bottom, but when they would dart out, it'd be so quick, the bass wouldn't know what to do. But now they claim that so many other species are getting bigger and bigger by eating these gobies, and they become their favorite part of their diet. And one of the things I was really interested in, I told Dave, who's on Cayuga Lake, they claim that lake trout have really started feeding on gobies. And if this is going to make the Lakers even bigger, I don't know. You know, here's the interesting thing. Why do people come to our wonderful area to fish? And there's certain reasons. They don't come because it's beautiful. They come here because they know the fish tend to be bigger here than almost any place. And we're not just talking about bass. We're talking about all the fish that live in our area. The walleyes grow to tremendous size. And the muskies, of course, we have world record muskies. But there's a reason they come here. And the reason now more people around the world are coming here is because they're discovering the story about how a fish of a lifetime can be caught in this area. So this is why they come to our area. And it's really a special draw that we have. But part of the reason we have it now is there's a whole new game in town, which is the gobies, that have given them enriched vitamins or whatever it is that's making them bigger. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.